Hi YouTube. I haven't done a video in a while, but I haven't seen a whole lot out there about the CAO Amazon Basin, and considering how much I've grown to love this cigar, I figured I'd put a video up, say hi to you guys again, since it's been a little while, which, by the way, apparently I've had to create a new channel, Cut Light Smoke, because I somehow do not have access to my old Cut Light Smoke channel, and I don't know if it's just me being stupid with new Google crap or what, but it somehow is not connected to any of my email addresses or anything, and I can't tell you how frustrated I am with Google Plus and all this BS that they make you put together. But anyways, enough about that. A little bit about this cigar. They gave us this little gimmicky label, which kind of is the selling point for a lot of people, which was why I was a little skeptical about this from the get-go. It's made from the stem of a leaf, a tobacco leaf. I presume the Berganca tobacco leaf that they use. It's the special tobacco in here. They wrap it around. It looks kind of cool. Anyways, not that big of a deal. It just looks nice. But the big kicker for this cigar is that it has tobacco called Berganca from the Amazon rainforest. And they say they only grow it once every 3 years so that the soil stays rich. It's a really bold and hard-burning, thick tobacco that they jam into these tubes and ferment it in there for a while, and then they apparently row it in by canoe to the mainland, and then it gets shipped in trucks. And anyways, it's a pain in the ass apparently to get a hold of it, and there's not a whole lot of it out there. And so CAO came up with this cigar, which I believe is a 6x52 size-wise, if I'm not mistaken, something along those lines. It's Toro size. Which is one of my favorites. So, but I've had a few of these so far, and a lot of the flavors that I get are just really rich cocoa and dark chocolate and a lot of leather off of these cigars. And it's just, I don't know, it's there's something in there that I can't put my finger on. There's a flavor that I've had a few times with a few cigars ever in my life, and it's really good, and I still can't pick it out, but I guess I'll just have to smoke a few more. I did end up buying 3 boxes, so if that says anything, I really encourage anyone out there to rush out and get some while they last. There's only, I think they said 2,000 boxes were made, so you're slim pickings here. I mean, that's not a whole lot, and their boxes are 18, so I bought enough that I can hopefully hang on to them for a while, you know, see what they do with some age. And I did forget to mention another big selling point to this cigar is that it's pretty inexpensive. I think the retail for it is between $9 and $10 for a single. But if you get a box, I mean, you go on some of the online stores, you pay $110 for a box of 18. I mean, I actually called and they hooked me up with a deal for the last 2 boxes that I bought for just $100 a box. So. And that was at cigar.com, so they're always pretty friendly there. Yeah, I'm going to get smoking on this thing, and I'll check back in a little bit, give you guys a little more of my thoughts, maybe shoot the shit about a few other things, and that's about it. So, cheers. Alright, so we're about a third of the way through, 1.5 inches, 2 inches or so. The beginning of this cigar, it has a little more pepper, along with the bold, dark flavors that I was talking about. But it does mellow out a little bit in the middle, from my experiences with the other ones that I've smoked. You get a little bit of wonky burn here and there, like that'll probably run up a little bit more, but then it kind of evens itself out. And that's usually only the first half of the cigar that with my experience that I've gathered. And I don't know if it's just because the Berganca tobacco just kind of is thick and burns a little harsher. That may be it. Harsh isn't the right word for that. It's not harsh flavor. It's just a rough leaf to burn, from what I understand. Once you get through the first third, you get a little bit of a sweetness on the same cocoa, leathery flavors. A little bit of wood on the finish as well. But I mean, overall, it's one of those cigars that you look at as a dessert cigar, true dessert cigar, and I can't think of anything really like it. It's not something you want to have every day, but it really is, I guess the best way to describe it is just a dessert cigar after, you know, a big meal, or if you really want to, I guess you could smoke it in the morning, but I would really recommend having breakfast first. because it can be a little strong. I've smoked this with a few buddies, and I've had some that almost couldn't take it at the beginning because it is pretty powerful about the first third, and I'd say overall the whole cigar is a medium to full body. Um, Sometimes it can lean more towards the full end though, so caution for anyone out there that does want to try it. Just don't do it on an empty stomach. But still getting a lot of smoke off of this. Smoke output's fantastic, and it just keeps burning. I can't figure out that one flavor. I'm still trying to pick at it. If anybody has any comments on that, please leave them, share them, see what you think. But there's something in there, and it's mainly on the retrohale. And I probably retrohale every one out of every 3 or 4 puffs or so. I just feel like you get so much more flavor, so much different flavor, and that's where I really pick up that I can't pick it out. I don't know what it is. It's a little bit almost like a bold raisin. It's strange. It's hard for me to explain, but it's unique. So it's really worth a shot. But yeah, it's becoming one of my favorite cigars, and I hope that the age on this thing doesn't ruin it, or I don't want it to mellow out too much because I do really enjoy these bold flavors and dark flavors. Not to take that from another YouTuber, but it really is spot on. I wish I could buy more boxes right now, but I actually just purchased a cabinet humidor. Took the plunge and spent a little bit of money on one because I recently had, between all the jerry-rigged Ziploc bags in dresser drawers and all my humidors, I had 18 total, environments that I had to control humidity for, and that's just a really big pain in the ass. It's terrible. And I don't have 18 hydrometers, so I'd be moving 3 or 4 hydrometers through each humidor, and it's a headache. So the wife finally let me get a cabinet humidor, and maybe I'll put up a video for you guys sometime about that. Give you a little tour or something. It was 310 pounds. My 80-some-year-old neighbor actually helped me move it in because the truck driver who delivered it wouldn't even help me for $100. But what are you gonna do? But it's in the house, and it's about 4 feet wide, maybe 6 feet tall, and I think 17 inches deep or something. It's a pretty hefty cabinet, but it's perfect for my collection. And right now I seasoned it up for about a week, just under a week, and now it's holding 71, 72%, which I actually prefer my cigars be at 65%, especially for when you want to smoke them. Maybe if you age them, maybe a little bit higher. But I mean, I had this sitting in a different location for a little while before I smoked this one, and it's closer to the 65 mark, and you just get so much more flavor. I try to explain to people that when you smoke a cigar, towards the 70 mark or even higher, God forbid, it ends up being like you're almost steaming instead of smoking. Then the drier the smoke, you just feel like you bring out more flavor. It's not as hot. So I know everybody says 70-70, but I just completely disagree with that. And I know quite a few people will agree with me on the way I do it. But right now, I just have a little electronic humidifier at the bottom because I have some double doors at the bottom. There's some glass double doors at the top, and I have that set to, I think, 63, and it's still... I put all the cigars in last night. It actually took me 12 hours to transfer all my cigars, and I did an inventory of them, so because I finally wanted to know what I actually have and how many of each and all that. So I did a little Excel spreadsheet and spent 12 hours all the way up till 7:30 in the morning doing that, and finally got it all set up. And I'm sure the cigars that are in there now will kind of hold the humidity up a little bit. But I took everything else out, all the little water bowls I used to season and whatnot. But it's holding strong. I'm trying to keep the temperature down because I actually recently, about a month ago or so, I had one of my smaller humidors. Our power had gone out here, and I had a tobacco beetle hatch. First time that's ever happened to me, and it was in a Liga Privada T52. And I was luckily that day I went to go smoke one of those, and I look, and sure enough, there's a just perfect circle hole in there, and I mean, I freaked out, and took all the cigars out. There were no other cigars in the humidor were affected, but I did put everything in the freezer. I did a day or two in the fridge. And I did 3 or 4 days in the freezer, then a day or two in the fridge, and then I pulled them out, let them sit outside, out on the shelf for a day before I put them back in the humidor. And I actually left the humidor itself in the freezer for a good 5 to 7 days. So any chance of any beetle eggs or anything like that were just gone. And I only ever found one beetle in there, so thank God I kind of lucked out. But it was pretty scary. So I guess that's one bad thing about having everything in one cabinet now. So excuse me. But anyways, I'll get back to this cigar, and I'll check in with you guys in another inch or so, or inch or two, and I'll give you my thoughts. So, cheers. Alright guys, I'm back. Just a little over halfway done here with the CAO Amazon Basin. The middle of this cigar, from my experiences with the other ones that I've had, it does really calm down a bit. I get a lot of musty, like wood and more leather. There's leather throughout this whole cigar. And like I said, the retrohale, you still get that raisin. And it goes from like a bold to a light raisin to a more bold raisin. And I think this cigar really starts out really strong as a powerhouse at the beginning. A lot of pepper and flavors are just bam, right in your face. And then it kind of mellows out a bit. And you still get hints of like cocoa and dark chocolate and just a lot of dark flavors. Really bold stuff, which I really love in a cigar. But it's bold at the beginning, kind of mellows out, and I expect the rest of this, once I get, especially when I get closer to where the band is, it's gonna vamp up a little bit here. And it's a great cigar. Burn's not perfect, but it's nothing to complain about. Still lots of good smoke. The draw is great. Cigar hasn't gone out or anything like that. And when I get close to the band here, they say you can smoke through it. I haven't done that yet, but I can't imagine that a stem of a leaf would be very pleasant to smoke. So they're pretty easy. You can just I'll do it right now actually. Pull this off here, and it just kind of unravels, if you can see that, pieces here. Oh, now it's going to make me look like a fool. The ones I've done in the past just came off in one strip. But I'm sure it takes a lot of work to put these on every single one of these cigars. It's as you can see, it's a little snug on there, but I mean, how else are they going to have it stay put? But it doesn't affect the draw or anything. I've never had any problems with that. So, but it's gonna. I'm expecting it to get a lot stronger towards the end here. It's still kind of it starts off full body, then it gets kind of medium body, and then I think it's gonna vamp up to the full as we get closer to the end. And this is, in my experience, it's been a finger burner. It's one of those cigars you just don't want to put down. And it doesn't get too hot. So sometimes I've had cigars where you have this much left, and 3-4 inches, and it's on fire. You can't even smoke it anymore. But then again, that's partially sometimes due to humidity. So make sure you're keeping your cigars at a good humidity, which 65% helps that not happen. And I did want to mention what I was talking about earlier with tobacco beetles. In case anybody doesn't know, tobacco beetles typically hatch due to temperature. And when I said my power went out, it was pretty hot here. It got really hot in the house, and apparently they can just be dormant and hatch years later. So it's kind of a bummer. But try to keep your temperature down with your humidors, and I try to keep my house no higher than 70 degrees at all times. Plus I sweat balls all the time, so I'm not trying to sit there and pant all night when I'm going to bed and whatnot. So, but if the power goes out, can't do a whole lot about that. And then I also did want to mention that the company that I got the humidor from, when I do a video of that, I'm hoping to do that soon, maybe this week. I'll show you guys the whole thing and the name of the cigar and everything, but it was from Premium Humidors, and I did want to make a note about them that there's a lot of bad reviews out there about them, and for the most part, I would say that I give them a bad review as well. They took almost 2 months to ship this thing to me, and on their website, they advertise that they'll ship by 4 p.m. the same day for in-stock items. But they said they had one in stock when I emailed them, and then a week later I call. They say that, oh, it had an issue. That one was broken. We didn't want to send you a broken one. And I'm thinking, oh, well, I guess that's nice of them. But I think in the end, I think this is one of those companies that big items like that especially, they don't keep on hand, and they just order it from their supplier. And it took forever. I mean, every time I called, they were very pleasant, and they were friendly. But I mean, friendly doesn't mean my humidor is coming anytime soon. And luckily, it wasn't a big rush. But I mean, I would hate to be, you know, a new cigar store owner or somebody who maybe bought, you know, one of those locker walls or something, you know, and you're waiting to open up your store and put that in there or whatever. But anyways, they're just a little word of caution. If you if you do order from them, you're probably not going to get anything soon. They have some decent prices on stuff, and the humidor that I got is made by Maverick Industries, and I believe it's a Chinese import, but it's pretty good quality overall. I mean, there's real Spanish cedar in there and everything, and it'll do for me. I don't need. I'd love to be able to have you know, some $10,000 humidor, but it's not in the budget. So but anyways, CAO Amazon Basin is a damn good cigar. So I will finish this out, maybe another inch or two, give you guys one last update, and let you know how it did turn out, if it's as I expect or if it's not. But they have been pretty consistent with all the ones that I've had. So my recommendation is still very high on this cigar, and I really think that you should go out and get some. Especially since they probably won't be around for too long. And I don't know if CAO will ever make them again, but I mean, the blend may be different, could be better if they do it, you know, 3 years from now when they have another crop or whatever, but just my 2 cents. So I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Alright guys, I'm back. Only have a little bit left here with the CAO Amazon Basin, and it did kick up quite a bit. I'm feeling it in my head, and I don't typically get a lot of that from many cigars. Just doesn't really happen very often to me, but I can feel a little bit, and it vamped up to close to a full body. I mean, it's nothing you can't handle, but it's up there, and flavor-wise, you got a lot more cocoa on this one, and the finish is really sweet, like coffee flavor, just light coffee with more of a dark chocolate. There's a lot of dark chocolate in this cigar. I mean, I know I didn't start the video off here with a pre-light, but when you get one of these cigars, before you light it, you got to smell the foot and smell the wrapper, and it smells like dark chocolate. And I mean, it's one of those cigars that it smells as good as it tastes. So you know, sometimes it's not the case. They might smell great, and it's just a, you know, dog rocket. But this is great, and it's just bold, and I just love it, and I really encourage people to go out and buy it. And I wish I had more. I wish this was a regular production cigar, so I wouldn't have to worry about running out one day. But like I said, it's going to be a finger burner. I'll probably sign off here shortly and finish this off myself. But it's a good one. Little bit of just a little wood on there, light wood. It's just a sweet. Whenever the flavors on this cigar get bold, there's just this lingering sweetness that's, I don't know, it's very pleasant. And I love it. So this has been the CAO Amazon Basin, and it's fantastic. So go get yourself some, couple boxes if you can. It's worth it. So I will be signing off here, and always remember, Stoga o'clock is any time. This is Cut Like Smoke, signing off. Take care.